Alongside Matt Ray, I'm Austin Price for a Volquest recruiting mini-pod here from the Orange and White game. And Matt, Tennessee hosted a number of visitors. We'll start with Emmanuel Okoye, who we hope to catch up with on Monday. He's here on an official visit from NFL London, the NFL Academy. A young man who's an athlete, could play on either side of the ball, long, rangy, and a really good-looking prospect, but a very raw prospect.
Yeah, very raw. You can see the length that he possesses. And you can see the athletic part that you mentioned. Tennessee showing him a lot of attention. Alec Ablin over, the defensive coaches all over to talk to him. Mike Ecker, all those guys through today. So, feels like for him it's going to be a big slate of visits as he continues to work through the process. But it looked like today he got a lot of attention from Tennessee.
Yeah, Vanderbilt and Georgia also supposed to be on the slate. Could be an addition or two to that visit slate before he heads back over to London. But do expect him to make a decision sometime late May, early June. As for the as for other 2024s, you look around and Kamarion Franklin stands out the most. I mean, he's the bell cow that was here this weekend, in my opinion. A big kid, a big-time prospect, and one that Rodney Garner clamors to have.
And I think today the thing that stood out to me the most watching Kamarion Franklin around the game was how highly engaged that he was. He was here with his high school coach. He's asking questions, pointing things out, wanted to get down and see how the defensive line works. He's able to do a lot of that. It continues to feel like Tennessee is in a good spot there. He likes the communication. He likes the atmosphere around Knoxville, and he has some familiarity here.
Elsewhere, Jermias Hurd, someone who I think could pull the trigger before the month is out. And you see him, he's such a physically imposing kid, a kid that has predominantly played basketball in his life but has started to get more and more traction. But Tennessee's been recruiting this kid for a while as a football player, and I think has the momentum right now as we exit the spring game.
I think the basketball background is the first thing that stands out when you see Jermias Hurd. You can see that the way he carries his weight. When I talked to him today, he's legitimate 6'8", and it feels like he's up to around 292. And it's just there's no bad weight there. Tennessee's been recruiting him a long time. Other schools want to get him to campus, and he's going to go where he feels like he's wanted, and that's why he continues to show up time and time again at Tennessee. And it feels like the ball's continue to be in a good spot for Jermias Hurd.
Pretty easy trip too from North Georgia up to Knoxville.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, Edmund Spillman in town, had a chance to catch up with him. Clearly, he's going to go through the process. Going to take those officials in June. Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee on the docket. I still have a hard time believing he's going to go anywhere but Tennessee, but clearly, much like Caleb Herring dealt with this, I don't think anybody just likes the assumption that I'm going to go to the school because my older brother's going there. And so he's going to take the process, but he told me that he really enjoyed getting to sit in a meeting room with Brian Jean-Marie, getting to talk with Brian Jean-Marie, and how BJ can be uber-friendly and very cut-up type personality, but then when you walk across the lines, be very businesslike, be very focused, and trying to get work done on the football field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's continued to see, a lot of things that Tennessee has to offer, and obviously his brother's here, and that's going to play a big part for him. But now, I guess you can't say this is now a once-in-a-lifetime thing with the transfer portal, but still, really, if you get it right the first time around, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So you need to go through the process, and Edwin Spillman has a lot of opportunity in front of him. But I'm like you. I would be surprised to see him, leave the state, but he will do his due diligence, and he's maintained that for a while.
Peyton Lewis here. I feel like Tennessee's got a lot of traction there. Tennessee's done a really nice job with the running backs in this class. I think they're doing a nice job with Braylon Russell. He'll be back in June. Peyton Lewis will be back in June, but he leaves here having spent time in Gallenberg and Pigeon Forge with his family, then come down here for the last 2 days. Feeling like Tennessee's in a pretty good spot. It's Tennessee, South Carolina. I know Virginia Tech and a few other schools are still in it, but it feels like those are the two he's going to officially visit in June.
Yeah, and he mentioned that he might fit a third in, and if he does, maybe Virginia Tech. But I think he's hit it off well with Jerry Mack, and Peyton is very engaged in the process and asks the right questions. He's got a laid-back personality, and I think he feels like he's been made a priority here. His family been coming to the area, for a while, and he's familiar with Tennessee. It's not that far from home, So I feel like June is going to be a big month for him, as he'll process a lot of information going into that summertime decision.
And then you had a chance to catch up with the two big linemen, Callaway and the big kid from Iowa.
Yeah, both of those guys very quiet, given their massive frame. We'll start with Grant Bricks, the kid from Iowa. He's a very impressive prospect on the hoof, and this was important for him to get his first look at Tennessee. Non-committal on if he wanted to come back, for an official visit. I would like to, but not sure that I'm going to type situation, or not sure that I'm going to be able to. But outside of that, the schools in the Midwest are the primary schools recruiting him: Iowa, Kansas State. So it feels like, he'll continue to take a deeper dive into Tennessee, and he doesn't want to, come out of this visit too high. He wants to go back and process it and see where it's at. And then Ethan Callaway, one of the things he told us in January, and one of the things that he told us again today, was that he doesn't want to start putting favorites or a top group out there when he feels like there's no separation right now. He felt like it was important to see Tennessee again today. He really enjoyed the atmosphere and the way that the stadium for a spring game was, more full than some of the college game day atmospheres that he experienced last year. I think we'll be back here at some point in the summer, but we'll see, where he's at in terms of that. He does want to decide after June official visits, but he doesn't have any on the docket as of now.
So Tennessee now will head off into the evaluation period, especially after Collier leaves town on Monday. Tennessee coaches will be getting out on the road here in the coming, week and a half, and they'll be out the end of April throughout the month of May. And honestly, that's a big time for coaches to kind of get out and see kids, see where they've grown. If those kids haven't been to campus in a while, kind of see where they're at, kind of fill them out and see kind of where things are. But you start to see the positioning here, Matt. Those June officials are very, very big across the board at all positions. I'm not sure, again, Tennessee's going to take a linebacker until they get those set kids that visit in June. Let them kind of go through it and kind of see where they're at. Tennessee's going to take 2, maybe 3 linebackers. Tennessee's going to take a couple of running backs. All those 2 positions, and specifically, are going to be ones that I think you'll see the movement after June officials.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the way, when you're involved with so many guys as you are right now, it's going to be the best way for Tennessee to sort it out and see where they're at. And the shift in recruiting is those June officials and those July decisions. So it's heating up for a big summer across the country, Austin.
Tennessee's orange and white game is in the books. We're happy about that. Nobody really likes those spring games anyway, especially the coaches. The coach, you look at Ethan Davis today. He got hurt with a couple plays to go. Looked like a broken collarbone to me. Time will tell. Either way, if it's a broken collarbone, he's back by fall camp, which is what everybody's hoping is the case. And, the recruiting never stops, and it will continue on. Again, remember, Emmanuel Collier will be here, leave town on Monday, and head to Vanderbilt. From there, we'll try to catch up with him Monday morning. So we'll be on the general's quarters, be on Volquest for that. We have a full update with Peyton Lewis coming as Kamarion Franklin's update, along with all the players we just talked about, all here for Tennessee's Orange and White Game 2023. He is Matt Ray. I'm Austin Price. We'll talk to you on the general